Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all for this Python for Engineers short-term training program. And today, on day 14, we are going to learn a new concept that is related to networks. For example, you can, I think by default, every engineering student will understand what is a network or what is a computer network, irrespective of the discipline in which they are pursuing their studies. There is no one in nowadays who does not know what is a network, right? So if you can take an example of a small network where if you go to any internet center, you will have a printer connected to only one machine, and whichever machine you are sitting in that particular internet cafe, if you are giving a printout, the print will come from a single printer connected to a network. So basically, you might have observed in many places, not only in our college, in many places, we can connect with a network. The best example is today's session. We are having in online mode. You might be connected with a Wi-Fi device. You might be having a landline dedicated connection, or you might be having a mobile where suppose right now I am in a home isolation. I connected the internet from my mobile hotspot. So my mobile is giving me the network connectivity so that we can have a session in online with Zoom application. So this is also an example of a network. You are also having a network. That's why you are able to connect and we are going to have this particular session. So an internet cave has a network. An online mode of teaching needs a network. And basically you might have observed in your institution before this pandemic, when you are going to any lab, all the computers might have been connected with each other, or you might have a Wi-Fi in the institution where automatically wherever you are inside within the institution, I think you can connect to your college Wi-Fi access point. So that is also a network. So we are not going to learn about what is a network, but in today's session, we are actually going to do programming with related to network. So this concept is called as network programming. The topic what we are going to learn today is network programming, or in other words, it is also termed as socket programming. So today I am going to give an introduction. See, because it's a vast topic. So from today onwards, for another 4 days, right? 28, 29, 30, yeah. Today onwards, another 3 days. So we have 4 days of sessions left. Every day, I am going to introduce one advanced topic with you with whatever best possibility we have in 2 hours of time. So today we are going to work on network programming. Tomorrow we are going to work on web application development. Another day, another 2 days, we will see some machine learning and data science related programs or concepts. Okay, so these topics are little advanced in nature. So in case if you are unable to understand, I request you to go through the basic foundation concepts, and then you can also work and you can get proficiency in this. Now, for the sake of non-CSC students, I am not sure in this 120 odd participants, how many people are from non-CSC background. If you are a non-CSC background, I will try to explain each and every participant in the best possible simpler terms. In case if you are still facing any difficulty, you can always contact me in the WhatsApp group at any point of time, even after this workshop. So with this brief introduction, let me share the screen and start the topic of network programming today. I believe that you are able to hear to me and my screen is visible to you all. So one of the participant has responded host and clients. Yeah, correct. The participant Sri 1 named Sri 1. You are right. We are going to talk about different client, host, etc., etc. Right? Now, before starting the network programming, I would like to give you a small understanding about how the session is going to be. Before explaining the topics of socket programming, I just wanted to show you a small command from the Windows prompt, ipconfig. When I am typing ipconfig, so immediately you can see clearly that I am connected to Wi-Fi through the mobile hotspot and my IP address is 192.168.43.233. So all of a sudden, why am I talking about IP addresses? Why? Because network will be possible only when you are having an internet protocol address. What is IP address? IP address is nothing but internet protocol address. This is the address which made you connected to internet. If this address is not there, this address can be static or dynamic. Static in the sense, if you have a dedicated connection with some configurations, you can make use of the same IP address. Sometimes the IP address may change. Okay, so this is a logical address, but not the physical address. A logical address which enabled us, or even you go in your laptop and you can also type this particular command ipconfig, you will also see your IP address. And there is another address called as MAC address, which is a physical address. Let us not go much deeper into those details. So why am I showing this particular IP address is we are going to use IP addresses in socket programming. Why we have to use IP address, I will let you know in another 5 to 10 minutes. So to know the IP address, the command that you can type is ipconfig from the command prompt. Okay, now let me also type another command called as host name. See, when I type host name, this is not Python command. This is a normal operating system command. When I typed host name, it is giving my name. Why? Because I have set my laptop host name as my name itself. Now you go and type host name in your machine when you are practicing. Then you may get the host name of your machine. Now, everybody knows that, for example, if you want to connect to your Gmail or you want to connect to Facebook, what you are going to do? Gmail.com. The moment you type gmail.com, my intention is not to show the email actually, but the moment you said gmail.com, immediately I am able to, or you are able to open your emails, right? Similarly, suppose if I want to read some news, enadu.net. Okay, so Enadu is a Telugu daily newspaper. Usually I have a habit of reading this newspaper. Okay, so the moment I typed enadu.net, immediately this is a Telugu newspaper, daily newspaper. Immediately I am able to get the home page of this particular website, right? Similarly, in case if you want to connect to Facebook, you will type facebook.com. So when you are giving the name of the URL, immediately you are actually able to connect to the data center in the background and immediately you are able to connect. How is this possible? This is possible because that particular host name, the particular URL, whatever you are typing, is actually running in the background. What I mean to say, Let me give a theoretical concept on this. What happens when you enter gmail.com or enadu.net or sakshi.com? This is another newspaper which I think Andhra Pradesh and Telangana people will know. And if you say facebook.com, even irctc.co.in, what is happening in the background? In case if we have internet connection, immediately our machine is able to connect to respective services. Gmail.com will give a service like viewing your emails, sending an email, and etc. etc. enadu.net and sakshi.com is also giving a service to read the newspaper. Facebook.com is also, better than me. irctc.co.in web service is giving us services to book tickets, to update any information or cancel a ticket, or to search the ticket availability, etc. etc. What exactly is going on in the background? In the background, these services are launched by a data center, or to be precise, a server. Basically, data center means it's a huge place where high configurable servers are there. Launched by basically a server. So data center is a place where a huge collection of server machines will be there. So if server is down, server gives us the services, right, through internet. So we are the clients for the servers. See, exactly the same terminology I have used in database connectivity. In database connectivity, there shall be a database server and there will be a Python MySQL client, and this client is going to connect to the server. In the same manner, basically, the database concept is also having the same socket programming which I am going to explain you today in this session. We are clients for the servers. Then how a client is able to connect to the server? Exactly, when I typed enadu.net, how come the web page of enadu.net is being visible on my screen? Or nowadays people use less laptop and more mobile. You have Android app, and there are so many apps. If you want to book a ticket, there is an app. If you want to book a movie show, there is an app. Even if you want to watch a movie, there is an Amazon Prime app, Hotstar app, Z5, Sun NXT, AHA. There are so many apps. How this app is able to connect to the main server? Because irctc.co.in is not running in your machine, it is running somewhere else, and you are connecting to it. How it is going to connect? How a client is able to connect to the server? These concepts need or not. Instead of these concepts, okay, we are able to connect to a network through a concept called as sockets. So today we are going to learn more about sockets. Now, have you heard about socket other than computer socket, which I am going to discuss? Have you heard about a socket in your life? Have you heard about a socket? Anytime? Let me hear from the audience, from the chat box. Forget about computer network programming, Python programming, etc. Yes, one of the participant has exactly told in a plug board. In a plug board, basically, we have sockets where suppose if you want to charge a mobile, what you are going to do? You will take the mobile adapter and fix it in the socket and switch on the plug and then connect to the mobile, the electricity will pass through. Correct. So the participants are able to understand. So in our daily life, we know electric boards where a socket is available. We plug the mobile adapter to charge our mobile phone, correct? Then we plug the TV wire, correct, to watch TV, etc. So that is also a socket, right? That is a socket. So here, how can we understand a socket? From this example, I am trying to bring out the concept of the socket which we are going to learn. How we can understand a socket now? You can say socket is a hardware device, correct? Because it's a hardware, you can see. And there are some plug points like 3 pin, 5 pin, multiple, like there can be a 6 ampere socket, there can be a normal socket. Suppose if you are actually bringing one immersion rod to heat your water, then the switch will become, there will be a bigger switch. For AC unit, there will be a bigger switch. For a normal TV and mobile, there will be a small switch. So basically, socket is a hardware device which is a channel to provide a flow of electricity. Correct? The flow of electricity. It's a hardware device. The electrical board, switchboards, or the extension board, all those things are hardware devices because it is a device which you can see and which you can touch and which you can feel. What is this doing? If you don't have a socket, then you cannot channelize the electricity. You cannot channelize the power which is coming to your household. Are you able to understand what I am saying? So, socket is giving a chance for us to get the flow of electricity into various devices. So, without a socket, no electronic device can be charged. Correct? So, socket is very important entity in the daily life. In the daily life. Then, what is this network socket? That we will see now. I hope everybody understood the basic concept. Today, we are going to learn the concept of sockets in network, in a network. Today we are going to learn sockets in a network. Now with this small introduction, let me come and check. In case if there is any difficulty, please let me know. In case if there is any difficulty in understanding, you please let me know. Otherwise, we will continue. Okay. So I can get the responses that I can continue. So let us continue and try to understand what is a socket with respect to a network. In a network terminology, a socket is a bidirectional communication channel. It's exactly same as the concept of the electrical socket which we learned just now, or which we know already and which we are using rigorously in our day-to-day activities. This socket is not a hardware entity. Like a socket we observed from a electric switchboard. So the concept is same. The electrical switchboard is an interface which will channelize the electricity flow to your electronic device or any device which is connected to it. But here also, socket is a bidirectional communication channel, but it is not a hardware entity. Rather, a network socket is a software entity. It's a software entity which is an interface to provide network services, to provide network related services. What is network related services? Basically, if you want to connect two machines together, there needs a network. For example, you want to connect two devices, two laptops, for example. Need not be laptop, anything. If you want to connect two laptops and communicate with each other, or you want to connect within the laptop. What is within the laptop? You want to connect processes within the same laptop. So try to understand what I am saying. There are two different laptops. If you want to communicate with each other, or you have one laptop where there are some processes running. For example, DB server is a process. DB client is a process running in the same machine. Running in the same machine. Let me take this into a different example. You want to connect the processes. Immediately when I say process, some people may get a doubt. So just for that, I am taking an example. We know what is a DB server. We know what is a DB client. Yesterday and day before yesterday, we exclusively used some Python programs, and even I think 3 days we worked with DB and Python. How? A DB server is running in my machine, and my Python program has a library which is also installed in my machine. In the same machine, I am actually connecting a DB client with a DB server so that both are communicating with each other. Are you able to understand what I am saying? Or you can connect two laptops, two different laptops, and communicate with each other. What is this communication? I am going to tell you with the help of a program. It can be sending a message, it can be passing a file, it can be chatting between each other. I will tell you one simple example. Everybody knows how to use WhatsApp. Everybody knows how to use WhatsApp. WhatsApp is also based on network programming. Without network programming, even today the Zoom class will not happen now. Even you cannot get an email. For that matter, if this socket is not there, you will not get internet. It's very simple. Okay. The background concept of network connection is possible through a communication channel, bidirectional communication channel called as a socket, and which is a software entity. It is not like an electrical switchboard. Okay. So if you want to connect it to two laptops, or you want to connect processes within the laptop, we need socket, or you can say we need a network socket. So tell me if you have any doubt in understanding this network socket. I didn't show you how exactly is a socket, how you can connect, but as a theoretical part, I hope everybody understood. Socket is a bidirectional communication channel through which multiple machines can communicate, or different processes within the same can communicate. So with a socket, multiple machines can communicate, or multiple processes within the same machine can communicate. So let me come. Some people have raised the hand, so let me just see in case if anybody has any doubt. Yeah, any doubts you can keep in the chat box. Any doubts still here, keep in the chat box. Then we will proceed further with small program related hands-on sessions. For another 15 to 20 minutes, I will show you some small commands, and then we will go on to the complete programming concepts about sockets. Let me know in case if you have any doubt. Any doubts? Okay, let me continue. Can somebody tell me what is the IP address of Facebook? Can somebody tell me what is the IP address of Facebook, or IP address of enadu.net, or IP address of irctc.co.in? Can somebody tell me? But if I ask my IP address or your IP address, immediately you can tell. Is it not? Okay. So how a socket looks like? Because it is a software, as network sockets are software entities. In Python, there is a module. There is a module called as socket, which provides methods, provides various methods for socket programming. Various methods like for socket programming. So today we will exclusively learn about socket module in Python. Now we will try to do 3 different things in socket programming. One, okay, before telling that, let me just show you some small theoretical notes in sockets. What is a socket and what are the basics of a socket? So if you really want to create a socket, so I'm going to the Python prompt. You need to import the module socket. Import socket means import the module socket. Socket is a module which comes by default. Socket is a module which comes by default. There is no need to install separately socket package. Now, socket dot, there is a, we can call the constructor method. See, socket dot socket. Immediately it has given me something. Now to understand this, let me tell you what exactly a socket is all about in Python. Okay, so you may not understand by, see, socket dot socket creates a socket, a software socket. Now, when I am executing multiple times, you may see that few things are being changed and few things are unchanged. Let me try to highlight and explain you what exactly is socket dot socket. Socket dot socket creates a socket. It's very simple, no? Creates a socket. Now, what exactly a socket has? What a socket has. Everybody, you can clearly see four things here. You can see 4 things. One is FD. That is a unique ID, file descriptor. See here, FD. The FD value may change. Every time there might be some different FD or there can be a same FD also. See here, that is the file descriptor, a unique number. Now, there is a common thing in all the multiple executions, that is family, type, and proto. Proto means protocol. So in every socket, these are the main important aspects. That is, file descriptor is only a return ID, but the bigger rectangular box which I highlighted is the most important thing you need to understand. What is address? See, AF means address family. AF, INET means basically it's the IP, Internet Protocol. The IP address is coming from this address family. AF underscore INET is the by default address family through which a socket is being created. There are other families also. You may not understand all the concepts because this is exclusively a computer networks related topic. So for non-CSC background people, try to understand only the few concepts which are very essential to understand socket programming. If you go deep, then automatically you will come to know. Okay, so AF is basically address family. AF is basically address family. Then I am going to show you one in the tutorial which I shared, little bit theory, so that I will not explain all the theory. You can read from there. Okay. Another one is called as sock stream, socket kind. Okay. What is socket kind? Okay. Family of a socket can be AF address family or PF protocol, INET, etc. What are these? Let us see the tutorial or read the concepts of family, socket family from Python tutorial or any online resource, because we will not be able to continue with the programs if I tell only theory part, which is not very much essential immediately to understand everything, right? It is for the non-CSE people, within 2 hours you cannot understand everything, but whatever is minimum required for doing socket programming, I am going to explain that. Then what is socket kind? Socket kind can be SOCK_stream for TCP/IP connection oriented. I think CSE, EEE and ECE students knows data communication. So you know what is a connection oriented protocol. That is socket stream. By default, the socket which you are going to create uses the family AFINET and SOCK_stream. SOCK_stream is a socket kind for TCP/IP connection oriented. There is another kind of socket, that is SOCK_DGRAM for UDP connectionless services. Then the next value is protocol. Is a reserved field and by default it is 0. It is reserved for future purposes. Now, in case if you have not understood what is this AFINET, what is socket stream, to give a very rough idea, let me open the PDF which I shared with you. I am not going to read all the theory because I am more interested to explain you some programs. Okay, so you can read the theory from page number 387, the tutorial which I have given to you. One second, you can directly go and type socket in the file. Here you can see chapter number 23. Now, what is a socket? I already explained you. Just a second. I will show you some important methods in the socket. Just hold on. Yes, here you can see socket.socket will create a socket, a software socket, and it takes 3 arguments. One is socket family. So socket family can be like AFINET by default, that is address family for getting IPv4 address, that IP internet protocol, and then SOCK_stream, that is for a connection oriented, and SOCK_DGRAM, datagram, is for connectionless, and the by default value of the protocol is 0. So whether you give 3 arguments or not, directly you can see clearly I didn't give any argument. By default it has taken the arguments AFINET, SOCK_stream and protocol as 0. This is how we create a socket. And why should I create a socket? What is the purpose for me? to create a socket. Okay. So now let me tell one simple example. Let me tell you one simple example of how network programming can be easily understood. A very simple example. If you can understand this example, then all the programs will be very easy for you. Let us take a real life example to understand how socket works. This example I will take in common in any of the class, workshop, short-term training program, whenever I need to explain sockets. Okay. Imagine you are visiting a restaurant. It can be any restaurant. Nowadays, we are not going to restaurants because of pandemic, but in general, I am telling you. Imagine you are visiting a restaurant. Before you visit a restaurant, what happens inside the restaurant? What happens? Definitely, the team of chefs will arrive who cooks food. This is not at all visible, not visible to the customers. It is there, but it is not visible to the customers. So basically, restaurant provides a service of giving food, serving food. Try to understand like this. Restaurant primary service is to serve food. To serve food. So a team of people will bring ingredients. Ingredients can be meat, it can be vegetables, or it can be groceries, any provisions. Are you able to understand? But this is also not visible to the customer. Not visible to the customers. Who is going? Nobody will bother, no. If you are going to any KFC, will you go and ask how this chicken leg piece has come to me? Who brought this? Nobody will bother because it's not our task at all. Right? Not visible to the end customer. So I am not talking about the team of people who are going and bringing the ingredients. I am not going to talk about the team of chefs who will arrive for cooking food. Correct? But what is visible to a customer? What is visible to a customer is set of tables and chairs to sit, and every table will be attended by one person. One person who belongs to the hotel. Correct? So that person, you can call it as server. Some people say waiter. Some people say steward. See, different concepts are there. Okay, a server. Now, sometimes try to understand. You might have observed that some set of tables are being served. Some set of tables are being served by one person. That means a server takes care of multiple tables. See, table means the table where you are actually sitting and ordering the food. Suppose if you are trying to call some server, excuse me, then one person will come, sir, please wait. That guy will come to you because they have designated places to serve. No server will cross that rule. Okay, table number 1, 2, 3, server A. Table number 4, 5, 6, server B. So even from table number 4, 5, 6, if you call server 1, he will not serve you because it's the duty of server B on that particular day. Are you able to understand what I am saying? So this is exactly the concept which is being used in network programming. Don't write this example in the exam. But in case if any interviewer asks, can you tell me one real life example of network programming? Then you can tell this example. Instead of telling only textbook examples, you need to always bring the analogy between a real life incident to the technical incident. Then only you have understood the subject in detail, because textbook gives only technical details. Unless until you correlate with the real time, your technical detail will not be fruitful in your career growth. Now, a customer, now tell me, before the customer arrives, the team of people who are responsible to serve the food, basically we call them as servers, not the computer servers I am talking about. Okay, to serve the food will arrive in the restaurant and wait for the arrival of the customer. No server will come after the customer comes. Before you, even the first order comes, the moment restaurant is open means the team has arrived who will cook the food. The team of people who are responsible to serve the food are also arrived. Then only restaurant will be open. Otherwise, restaurant will be closed. If there is no server, restaurant will be closed, because how to serve the customers. But if there is no customer also visiting, server will keep on waiting. Server will keep on waiting to take the order from a customer. Now, a customer arrives. He calls the server. He calls the server, correct? Like, excuse me. Then the server listens to the customer, what exactly he orders. Are you able to understand what I'm saying? If server cannot listen, then how he will understand the food item that you are going to order? So server will be waiting for the arrival of the customer, and when a customer calls a server, server listens. Then the server enters the kitchen. This is not visible to the customer. Sometimes there will be open kitchens where you can see. For example, if you go to Barbecue Nation, you will don't question me, sir. In Barbecue Nation, I am able to see what they are cooking. I am not talking about such kind of concept, but in general. So the server enters the kitchen and brings the item, which are one of the two things happen. One of the two things might happen. What? server brings the item which is ordered by the customer, or there is a chance that item not available. Server regrets that the item is not available and inform the same to the customer. If you understand this concept, now all the programs, whatever I am explaining you, all the instructions, methods, whatever I am explaining, it will be easily understood by you. A server arrives before the customer and waits for the arrival of the customer. Then server listens to the customer and then server responds to the customer. The response can be successful, response can be unsuccessful. It's not that whatever you are asking, it shall be served by them. There is a chance that some item may not be available on that day. So they will come, excuse me, sir, I am extremely sorry. This item is not available. Would you like to order any other item? Are you able to understand what I am saying? So try to imagine this scenario and then let us take a couple of minutes break. And after the break, I am going to show you the hands-on session of network programming. If you have any doubts, please ask me. So Sushant is asking one doubt. What is file descriptor 464? Sushant, I already explained you. It's a unique ID which is returned after the socket is created. So don't worry about the file descriptor here. FD means file descriptor, a unique value which is returned for that particular socket after it is created. Imagine it is the socket ID, a file descriptor, unique ID. Okay. Now, in case if you have any more doubts in understanding this concept, please let me know in the chat box. Otherwise, we will take a couple of minutes short break here. So the time is 5:59. By 6:02 or 6:03, we will start the session again. Okay, guys. So let us resume the session. I believe that you guys have understood the theoretical concepts, and let us continue. Let us continue. Just a second. Just a second. Okay. So let us resume the session. So I believe that you guys have understood how exactly a socket works from the real life example, right? So now let us see some small socket methods. How to create a socket. Okay, just hold on, guys. I think my navigation is little bit poor in the PDF. Yes. You need to understand, when compared to that real time scenario of going to a restaurant, there is a server, there is a customer. Here, a restaurant, imagine, now let us try to bring that analogy. Think the restaurant food service is done by a server. Server means here I am talking about the computer server. Okay. So forget about the restaurant now. A service is provided. A service is provided by a server. What is the service here? What is a service? A service can be web service. Basically, if it is a web server, right, you are able to browse through the web, or a service can be a DB connectivity, etc. Okay. Now, for a server to provide a service, the socket is used. Why socket is coming here? Why socket comes into picture here? Because socket is the communication channel. Socket is the communication channel. That means through socket, a server can provide a service. Through socket, a server can provide a service to clients. Here, client means, in a restaurant example, is a customer who visits for eating food or taking the food, taking in a parcel. Okay. So through socket, a server can provide service to clients. So we need to create a socket at server end, which is called as server socket. Actually, there is nothing called as server socket. A socket which is created at the end of a server is called as a server socket. Server. So server socket is a socket which is created and running in the server end. Okay, now few methods that are based on server socket are, there are some methods like bind, we will see those methods like bind. What is bind? Listen, what is listen? We will try to understand from the tutorial directly so that we can save some time. See here, yes dot bind. What is yes here? Yes means server socket. Yes means server socket. Now, try to understand. In a restaurant, server A takes care of tables 1, 2, 3. Similarly, when we create a server socket, we need to attach the IP address and a port to the server socket. What is IP address? What is port? I will tell you. Try to understand. Here, restaurant is the IP address. Table 1, 2, 3 are the ports. Imagine just like that. Okay. So when we create a server socket, we need to attach. So attaching an IP address and port is called as bind, which can be invoked through a method. See here, server socket object dot bind. Bind takes two arguments. One is IP address and port. What is IP address? For example, let me tell you. My socket is equal to socket dot socket. So this creates a socket, correct? First of all, you will import socket. Then you will say my socket dot bind, for example, 192.168.43.133. Then you will say 9090. What does it mean? Now the server socket named as my socket runs in the IP address 192.168.43.133 and listens at the port 9090 for providing service. What is a port? Like port is a unique integer number through which the services will be listened by the socket. So you need to bind the IP address and the service and the port number. Similarly, there is a method called as listen. This will infinitely listens. This method listens for any request from any client. Then accept. This method accepts the request from the client. So this is how, when you are going to create, see, I can directly show you a program, but in that program, these methods will come. So if I explain the method, program can be easily understood. So server socket has to be created. Then there should be an IP address and a port number through which the socket is bound to. And then listen will listen to the client. In case if anybody is calling me, they will listen. For example, a server will have, he will be looking at the customer. If somebody comes, he will be very attentive. Sometimes they themselves will come. In a restaurant, they themselves will come if a customer is sitting in particular table. But in general, I'm talking about a network. In network, they're all software entities. No, there is no person here. So a server will keep on running in one IP address and one port will be assigned to that. Only through that port, if you are bringing a request, it will listen. Just like table 123 belongs to server A. So if any customer is sitting in server at table 4, server A will not respond. He will not even bother. There will be another server who will be listening to those ports. I hope everybody understood. So bind, listen, and accept methods belongs to server end. Similarly, there should be a client also. What client will do? Client will connect to the server socket. So client basically has only one method, that is connect. Client will have only one method, that is connect. At client end, a socket will be created with the IP address and port number where server is listening. You will be creating a socket also, because socket is a bidirectional communication channel. So first thing what you have to do is, you need to write a server program where a server socket will be created, bind, listen, accept methods will be written. There should be another program called as client program. There you will also create a socket with the exact IP address and port number where server is listening, and connect method connects the client to the server through server sockets, IP address and port. So after that, so once server socket is created, bind, listen and accept. Okay. Client socket is created and connect. After these procedures or after these steps, successfully the communication channel is established. That means a socket is a bidirectional communication channel. How it is established? The communication channel is established. Channel is established with the following. With the following. By mistake, I wrote after the topic is told. A socket is a bidirectional communication channel. So how you will create? You will create a socket, bind it, listen and accept, then client will connect. Create a socket and connect. Okay. Now, once the communication channel is established, the server can send, receive messages from client, and the client can send, receive messages from server. Here, messages can be a simple text message. It can be a file. It can be a video. It can be chat messages, etc. Anything. Once connection is done, you can communicate between server and client. Now, with this theory concept, let us now write the hands-on programs on server program, socket programming. So remember 2 points always. In network programming or socket programming, we need 2 programs. One is server side program, 2 client side program. Then remember, server side program shall be up and running for the client to establish a connection with the server. I believe everybody understood the theoretical concepts of socket programming, minimum concepts. Okay, for sending the messages and receiving the messages, there are methods which you can also go through from the tutorial. I am not going to explain any more theory now. It is available in the tutorial, like socket.send. See here, it is very easy to understand also. Yes.receive, it receives a message. Yes.send, it sends a message. That is TCP. If it is UDP, receive from, send to. Close means close the socket. Close means close the socket. I will explain you what is get host name and get host by name. Okay, so with this little bit theory, let us switch on to the programming concepts. So remember, you need 2 programs. You need 2 programs. For that, because I am not having a network of machines here, I am trying to open 2 different command prompts which acts as server and client. Which acts as server and client. So let me imagine one is server, another one is client. See here, there are 2 different command prompts. Sir, why you are opening 2? Actually, you can run server program in one machine and client program in another machine, provided both are connected in the same network. For example, if I have another laptop, usually if I come to any workshop in offline, for example, I have went to Andhra University and many other affiliated colleges of JNTU and Andhra University, where I used to take 2 laptops. So in front of everybody, because I can be visible in front of you, I run parallelly the server program in one laptop and client program in another laptop, and I will make sure both are connected to the same network. But at this point of time, because it is virtual mode, I cannot at a time show you, because it will be difficult to switch between laptops. So imagine one command prompt is acting as a server, another command prompt is acting as a client. So let me write one simple program, server program.py, server program.py. Okay. Now, if you want to know the host name, through the server, through the socket, for example, let me import socket. Okay. After importing socket, you can call socket.getHostName. There is another method called as socket.getHostName. See, it is giving me the host name. What is host name? Before starting the session, I did show that directly from the command prompt, if I type host name, you see Nagaraju Baideti is coming. So host name is a Windows operating system provided command. Similarly, socket.getHostName will give me Nagaraju Baideti. So in my program, if I give Nagaraju Baideti, my IP address will come. What I mean to say, I will explain you. Just hold on. Okay. Let me go and take a screenshot of this, and then I'm getting so many chat. Yes, Mr. Mahesh sir, is it right to take waiter as a socket in our real-time example? Yes. Here waiter is the server socket. Mr. Mahesh, waiter is the server socket. The customer who is going is a client socket. Okay, just now I am able to see the doubts. Okay, let us come back and let me also go to the Python prompt again, and then see here, import socket dot get host name. Nagaraju Baideti is the host name. Okay, now socket dot get host by name. There is another, don't get confusion. Get host name gives my host name. There is another one called as get host by name. You give this name and see what it comes. Everybody please understand. Host name is the name of my machine, and if you are calling a method like get host by name, it will connect to that host and bring the IP address. Get host by name will give me the IP address of that particular host. Here, Nagaraju Baideti is the host name of my laptop. If you have any doubt, you can also check the IP config. Take the screenshot and type IP config. You can get exactly the same IP address. The IP address is 192.168.43.233, which is exactly the same thing which I got by get by host name. I hope everybody is able to understand how to get the host name and what is host name and what is get host by name. One second, let me just highlight and take a screenshot so that you will be able to understand. Now, before writing a server program and all, let us try to write a simple program where I can get the IP addresses of different URLs, which we in general use. Okay. So NPP get IP address of host. For example, if you want to know from where my institute website is launched, you can pass that URL name and call socket.getHostByName. So www.NIT-Nagaland IP address will come. Similarly, IRCTC, google.co.in, Facebook, Prime Video, Netflix.com. Are you able to understand? You can also get the IP addresses through which my machine is connected. Through which my machine is getting connected. So if you type, if you execute this command, you can clearly see the different IP addresses through which my services are being connected, or these services are being connected. Some will be static, some will be dynamic. So you should not worry about the output, but you should only try to understand. If you want to know the IP address of that particular service through which you are getting connected, you can use socket.getHostByName. Get host name will give the host name. Get host by name will give the IP address of that particular host. Okay. Now let us continue with a simple program of creating a socket. So let me go to server programs end, and another one, let me go to the client program end. Now how to write a server program? Basically, how to write a server program means a program where server socket is created. Now you need to parallelly understand the server program and client program. So initially, import socket. Import socket means we are importing the socket module. Then everybody please try to understand, there is a line which is commented. So let me uncomment it. Let me uncomment it. Okay. If you want to know the host name of the machine where you are creating the socket, that is server socket, you can say socket.getHostName. So I am saving it as my host name. And port. See, port, there are some reserved ports. Do not use the reserved ports like 80 for HTTP, 3306 for MySQL server. Are you able to understand? Did you see now in XAMPP, when you are running the Apache web server, 80 port number came and 443 came. So till every service has some reserved the in general standard services like file transfer protocol, like HTTP, so telnet, file FTP, SFTP. There are so many services which are very standard. Every standard service has a reserved port number. So do not use those port numbers here. So randomly, or I have given a port number which is not reserved, 9999, 2020, 3030, like that you can give. So I am giving port as 9999. You can give port as 1111 or 1000. You can give 9090. You can give anything. Okay. Now, how to create a server socket? See, here the name is server socket, but there is no difference between a server socket and client socket for a system. Socket is a socket. But if you are creating that socket for the purpose of a server program, we can imagine that as a server socket. So for that purpose, I have given a name server socket equal to socket.socket. Now, by default, if you pass these parameters, it is fine. Otherwise also it is fine. Okay. Now, if you want to bind, the next concept is you have to bind you need to bind. What is bind? Bind means you are actually attaching the IP and the port number. So after creating the socket, the next step I already explained you in theory is bind the socket with an IP and a port. Sir, here we are not giving IP, we are giving host name. As I told you, a host will have an IP in the background. So either you can give a host name here, it will be converted to an IP in the background as a tuple. Everybody please observe, it is a tuple. Bind method takes a tuple with pass the tuple with host name and port. Pass the tuple with host name and port. Now, after binding, that means the waiter has arrived to the restaurant. Then what he will do? He will wait for the customer. He will listen to the customer. So, listen method. What is 5 here? This server socket here, 5 indicates the parallel number of clients a server socket can listen. Here 5 means 5 clients it will listen at a time, and it can give response to 5 different clients. Okay. Now, after that, let us see the client program. Always do not read the entire server program. You need to know some part of server, and then you need to also know some part of client. Then only it will be meaningful. Client program. So this is the client program now. Let me bring it to this side, or I think it will be difficult to see. So let me do one thing. I will bring the client program back. Oh, did I share or stop sharing? I think by mistake, I clicked on stop sharing. Let me move here. Now, in case, please remember, when you are creating, when you are connecting, okay, first let me tell from beginning. Here also you are going to import the socket module. After that, you have to create a socket. I am naming it as client socket so that you will understand clearly. But please understand, a socket is a socket. If a socket is created for a server program, we imagine it is as a client server socket. And if it is in the client end, we imagine it as a client socket. But for a system, socket is a socket. So for a clear, easy understanding, I have defined in line number 4, socket.socket. After that, when you are connecting, you need to pass the tuple, okay, exactly as the tuple given in the server socket. Here, give the IP address and port of the server end of the server socket. You should not give whatever you want. Why? Because a server is listening, and in case if you want to talk to that server, you need to connect to that server. Then only you can. So before communication, you need a establishment of communication channel. After that only communication will happen. So you need to give exactly, for example, here I gave my host name. I gave my host name. Can I give my host name there? Yes, you can give. That's what here I wrote. Only when server and client are running in the same machine, you can give my host name. Why? Because my host name will give Nagaraju Baideti. Nagaraju Baideti IP address is same, and server and client are running in the same machine. Then you can give my host name. Otherwise, you have to exactly give the IP address and port number of the server which is created in the server end. So line number 5 in client program will connect to, I will do one thing to take a screenshot. Let me open in Notepad client program.py. Yes, let the server socket program will be in Notepad++, and this will be in Notepad. So when you say connect, it will go to line number 11 in the client server program. Now let me explain you. So line number 3 to 7 are communication channel establishment. Communication channel establishment. Similarly, till the highlighted part. Okay, let me take this for 1 second. Now, let me yes, the highlighted part is establishing the communication channel. Highlighted code is for establishment of communication channel. After communication channel is established, then what you will do? The actual communication should start. So listen here. I am writing while true. What is while true? While true means infinite loop. Why? Because server always should be keep on waiting for the customer to come. So that's why in general, for example, I will tell you, you open irctc.co.in, immediately you are able to get the website. No, why? Because there the service is always up and running. For example, you go to AHA app and go connect, automatically you will be connecting. Why? Because the data center has deployed the services of the AHA app or Amazon Prime Video or Netflix or anything. That's why here we are writing an infinite loop. Then server dot connect. Everybody please try to understand. In client socket, come on here. In client socket, connect method will invoke the accept method of the server. Let me now try to see if you understand this basic program. No, rest all bigger programs which I am explaining tomorrow will be very, very easy. The connect method in the client will invoke the accept method in the. So when a client tries to connect, then server will accept, not the other way. So what I have drawn is wrong. I think it should be a single pointed arrow. Yes, connect will invoke accept. Okay. When client invokes connect method, when in client program, when the connect method is called, or you can say in client program, when connect method is called, it automatically gets the connection acceptance from accept method in the server. See, these are the highly prioritized concepts that every engineer should learn if you really want to become an IT engineer. Because definitely all the real-time projects are based on networking only. So whether you will write a socket program or not, in the background, all these things will be running. For example, your WhatsApp also sockets are running, your Prime Video sockets are running, your Flipkart.com background program sockets are running. But we will not know. But definitely, I think some of them will have a fruitful career in case if you are very strong in network programming alone. Now, this accept is giving me two things. Always accept will give the client socket through which it is connected and the address. We will see what is client socket and what is address. Okay. Client socket, I am talking in line number 11 in server program. I will discuss about what is client socket and address. Okay, little later. Now, so after this is connect is done with the accept, that means completely the communication has been done. When you are listening, connect, accept, then the actual communication starts. The actual communication starts. Now, what is the communication here we are trying to do? Try to understand. See here. I am simply, what is address? The client which is connected to me. I am preparing a message. See here. Thank you for connecting is a message. Thank you for connecting is just a message. Okay. I am sending, see here, client socket dot send. What is client socket here? It is written in line number 11. When connect method is called in the client program, accept method will automatically gets invoked in server. That accept method will get the client socket details. Okay. So I am just creating one simple message saying, thank you for connecting. This is a message I want to pass to the client. So I am putting it into a string. Client socket dot send MSG. What is MSG? Thank you for connecting. That is a message string. You have to encode and send. You cannot directly send because it is across machines. So encode method, by using ASCII characters, we are encoding. So try to understand. Encode is like encrypting the message and sending it. When server is sending a message, what client will do? Client will receive the message. Everybody, please try to understand. Now, let me again try the annotations here. When you call connect, it goes to accept. Accept gives me the client socket and the address through which we have connected. Then we are simply printing a message, got connection from. It is just a message. The line number 13 is just a print statement. But main thing is line number 14. MSG is just a message, a string. Thank you for connecting. I am sending that message and client will receive. What is 1024? 1024 bytes. By default, thank you for connecting will have only 1024 bytes only. If there are more bytes, then you need to keep it in a loop. I will tell you tomorrow what is exactly 1024. 1024 is just a block. The number of bytes it will receive. A simple message will be less than 1024 bytes. So it will come in one packet. If the message is big, for example, if it is a video file, then entire video file cannot come once. It will come packet by packet. That is the packet size. 1024 is a packet block size. Okay. After, see, when you are sending a message at server end, create a message, encode and send it to client. That is what is happening here. Now, what should happen in the client end? At client end, receive the message, decode it. You need to receive and decode it. And then I am printing it. I am printing it. Where exactly I am printing? Let me show you. See, in this line, I am decoding and printing the message. After that, client socket dot close. After that, you close the connection. What is client socket here? From the accept method. See, I explained a simple program for both of you. Simple program in both the ends. That is the server end and also the client end. This is server program and this is client program. Now let us execute and see. Let us execute both of them and try to understand what exactly is happening. See, this is a very simple program. Tomorrow we will continue the networking concept only by transferring file. A server will wait as a file. A client will ask a file. I want this file. Server will search a file. If it is available, it will transfer the file to client. That we will see tomorrow. For this time being, so let me execute server program. Everybody see, server program is started and waiting for the client to connect. It will be in the infinite loop. See, server program will be waiting. Now, if I am saying, if I am calling the client program, see here. Okay, there is one small error in the client program. I wrote port, but what is port? I did not mention. So let me write that as, and my host name is also commented. I need to uncomment it. Port equal to 9090 in the server. Port equal to 9090. Now the program is correct. See, don't worry why there is an error. The error is due to I have commented my host name. I commented my host name. That's why there was an error. And port was not defined. Now you can see port in server and port in client is exactly one and the same. Okay. Still the server is up and running. Let me execute the client again. Okay, there is one more syntax mistake, that is an extra parenthesis. I am extremely sorry. By mistake, there are some syntactical mistakes. happening from my end. So you should not worry about that. Okay, now still the server is up and running. Only client side problems are there. Okay, clear it. Now you can see, thank you for connecting in the client end. Who is sending thank you for connecting? Now you can clearly observe in the server program end. Clearly you see, got connection from a client. Here server and client are both same. Server and client both are same, but the server, when it is connecting, it is getting the accept is getting the IP address of the client and the unique identity number. That 17590 is just a unique identity number. Okay. So in this manner, we can also communicate between client and server. Here server is sending a message. You can also send a message from client to server also. That we will see tomorrow. Here I am server is sending a message to client. Tomorrow we will see both the server and client sending and receiving messages with each other. Okay. So with this, I think I am done with today's concept. Today is to introduce you to the concept of network programming. I explained you the basic methods, terminology, the procedures, and I showed a simple program for connecting server and client through socket. So in case if you have any doubt, you can definitely ask me. And tomorrow we will definitely continue the network programming. Tomorrow I am going to, mostly I will send two things. One is a text file and video file also. Tomorrow we will learn these concepts. If possible, chatting also I will explain. I will also explain, most likely I will try chatting. You know how you are chatting in WhatsApp? When I am sending hello, you are also responding. Suppose if we both are friends. That I will not create a WhatsApp, but I will create chatting between server and client. I will try to explain that tomorrow.